What's going on, gang? This is Rocky with Atlanta Music DJ. Let's take a closer look. This video is going to be for the customer that's interested in the Magma Controller Stand by Magma Stands. Let's take a closer look at the Magma Stand and how you can use it for your setup. I found that I wanted to change things up as far as buying DJ cases. I wanted to just give a little bit different setup. Universally, when you go out to gigs, there's a table, and fitting all of your other equipment, and you know, lugging cases around wasn't as mobile friendly all the time, depending on the cases that you're going to be working with and how many cases you're going to be bringing in. Wanted to look at something lighter to work with, and just something more user friendly when you're trying to manage a bunch of responsibilities at your gig that people don't realize that you're trying to manage. Let's take a closer look at it. I'm going to grab my measuring tape, and this may work for your controller out there. It works for several different types of controllers, or your laptop. We'll take a couple measurements. We'll look a little closer on some cable management, and hope you like the video. If you do, please go ahead and like it and let me know if this helped you out. Maybe your new DJ setup that you're going to be looking towards. Alright, so here it is. So first, let's look closely at the specs of the Magma Controller Stand. What I mean by specs is we're going to go ahead and measure out a couple things here. And bear with me while I pull out my trusty little measuring tape. So this is at its lowest base. Okay, so at its lowest, as far as the height on the back end is going to be about 9 inches. Okay, and on the front end, the height is approximately, using your controller, it's approximately about 5, I'd say 5 inches, 5¼ inches, just the front. Okay, and the nice thing is it's angled. It's angled up towards the DJ, so it doesn't feel like it's flat on the table. Okay, so you have to kind of reach over. It's actually lifted up and towards you. And remember, this is at its lowest base, so you can actually lift this up a lot higher. Being this is at its lowest, and we can probably lift this up about 4 more brackets. We can go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, and it would be up to 4 right there. So that would be, let's see if that's going to be 6 inches added. Yeah, you can probably go, and we're already at 9. Possibly about 15 inches above the table for the back end. 15 inches above. I mean, literally, there will be no bending over whatsoever. You're just going to be standing. All right, so let's look at the front here. We're using complements of Pioneer. We're using a Pioneer DD-JSX. One thing I noticed about this controller is maybe if you're not using this controller, you want to use a different controller, that's okay. This will fit several different types of controllers. And what I mean by that is, so let's look at the bottom here. It's at its widest right now. I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way for a second. Okay, so it's at its widest, and at its widest here, we're looking at approximately 17 inches. Remember, we can go ahead and bring that in a lot more narrower if we need to. And that 17 inches equates to the brackets that up on top they're going to be holding your controller. One thing about this controller stand is about a 1/2 inch is lifted above on the brackets that are holding the controller in, and I noticed right away if you have any little knobs or things that are going to be poking out, it works fine for the Pioneer DD-JSX as far as headphone jacks being cleared, other knobs being cleared like that. But if your controller has other buttons and knobs on it, you may want to adjust it or slide it over if you need be. Just slide it over a little bit like so, and then that way it doesn't interfere with your knobs or buttons in the front. Alright, so again, you can adjust the bottom base, which will adjust the width or the narrowest, or the width or whatnot of the stand itself. Looking right on top, we're using a Toshiba laptop. This Toshiba laptop is approximately 15 inches across. The laptop stand is not at its narrowest. It's actually at an 11-inch width right now. You can go as low as 8 inches on this. I've already teared this down and put it at its narrowest for the laptop. I felt that the next bracket above was going to be sufficient enough. So if you're looking at this closely, 8 inches. So for you guys here, you're going to be using maybe some tablets or smaller laptops or whatnot, midis. 8 inches is your narrowest that you can go at the top portion of this for the laptop stand portion. Okay, you can go wider on it. The width on this, if I remember, was 13. Yeah, it was about 13 inches wide on this. Okay, is what you can, where you can go with it. But again, you know, you can overlap that with a larger laptop. Just the most important thing is this narrowest. Okay, so let's look at some cable management. I had a question about cable management. It gives me here about a good inch of clearance, and this is from your Pioneer DDJ-SX, which is probably your larger or wider controllers that are out there. So this may be comfortable enough for your other controllers out there. Let's say it hits all the way to the back. Is that going to be a problem for your controller? I think not. The reason is because you have plenty of clearance right here for all your cables to be plugged in. Your XLRs, monos, and all the other stuff like that, your power cables and whatnot. Your buttons are not going to be interfered or whatnot. I think Magma did a really good job as far as understanding all the cable management that needs to be utilized here in the back, no matter how close or how far it may be. The nice thing about this is when I used this at my gig for the first time the other day, and I had all the cables coming out of it in the back here. I had a couple of cables from the laptop that were being pulled down here, and I had them all behind these 3 bars here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I had them all behind the bars here, so not to be sticking out and looking all ugly on this side. I had them behind the bars, and when I pushed them behind the bars, I slid them all over and tucked them right here, right along this little beam. And I didn't have a Velcro strap at the time, and I said, well, this might be a good idea to have a little Velcro strap right on this leg here. I think most laptop stands, you should go ahead and put your little Velcro strap off to the side. Maybe have all your cables kind of running however you feel fit, or however you'd like to put them nice and neat. And just tuck them along the side and have a little Velcro strap you can open up and wrap your cables and hold them down steady right here. Okay, just in case when those cables are going to be running down towards the front of you, however you want to have them running to the side of you. Remember, when you're working, you're coming in and out of your booth and your feet are moving around, and you go and you pull that cable. It's something to think about, that you might want to have a little Velcro strap on the side right there. That might be really important. Those little things that we just don't think about, that we should think about ahead of time. Alright, so this is Rocky with Atlanta Music DJ. Just want to give you a closer look at our Magma controller stand. And how you can use it. Oh, one more thing, guys, let me show you. Remember, this is at its lowest. I'm going to pull this back just a little bit. This is at its lowest, and there's 2 reasons why I decided to go with this. This is very important to me, and I wanted to bring it up to you. Very important to me. Now, I'm actually going to be lifting this up. Remember, I told you how far it can go up. It can go about, let's see, it was another 6 more inches. Right here we're using possibly 5 inches underneath we have clearance, but I can go up even higher than that, about 6 more inches. So I'll probably go up to the 8th or 9th inch mark, okay, realistically, okay. 8 or 9 inches is good enough hands for clearance, okay. I'll probably be like right over here when I can go underneath it, but right now it's at its lowest. The reason why that was important to me is because I wanted to be able to tuck my lighting controller underneath. Okay, I wanted to be able to use just a 4-foot table, okay, be in a smaller space. I didn't feel like a huge, massive facaded setup was going to be like the ideal thing. You guys want to be prepared for your small corners. So my lighting controller was going to be underneath, and I had plenty of space to move that over. And right over here was going to be my second setup, my second DJ setup. If all else fails, I'm going to have my second setup here, which is going to be my CDJ, my USB, my zip drive ready, and or MIDI ready controller that's going to be right down in here with my lighting controller right here next to it. Okay, so remember, if all else fails, you have you know, your system fails here, or your laptop fails there, or both fail. What are you going to do? I'd say have a second setup ready to go that's going to be user friendly for all inputs, and I mean by MIDI, USB, zip drive, you name it, CD, you name it. So that's what was important for me, to have that second setup tucked underneath with my lighting controller. So let's say I'm hitting the switches and that moment's feeling right, and I can also hit the lights as well too. And that's kind of the way it should be. So anyways, this is Rocky with Atlanta Music DJ. I hope I didn't talk your head off. If you like this video, if a little bit closer look at the Magma Controller Stand helped you out, please like this video, subscribe, and love and respect all people and all things living. Take care, guys. Bye.